Fatherland videos. This is a Egyptian mythology read tonight. This book is by Dr. Chris Nanton and Flame Tree Publishing. We're on page 128. The Magician Teta. Once Prince Bayfra had finished telling the story of Teta and the gold ornament, Prince Herotatus, son of King Khufu, and a very wise man, stood up before his father and said to him, "Up until now, you have only heard tales about the wisdom of magicians who are dead and gone. It is quite impossible to know whether they are true or not. Now I want your majesty to see a certain sage who is actually alive and whom you do not know." His Majesty Khufu said, "Who is it, Herotatus?" The prince replied, "He is a certain peasant named Teta, who lives in Tet Sinefuru. He is 110 years old, and up to this very day, he eats 500 bread cakes and a leg of beef, and drinks 100 pots of beer. He knows how to reunite to its body a head which has been cut off. He knows how to make a lion follow him, whistle the rope with which he is tied, drags behind him on the ground, and he knows the number of the epic chambers in the shrine of Thoth. Now, for a long time, His Majesty had been searching for the number of the epic chambers of Thoth, because he had wished to make something like it for his own horizon, thought to be the books of instruments with the ancient Egyptians used in the working magic. So King Khufu said to Herotatus, "My son, you yourself shall go and bring the sage to me." A boat was made ready for Prince Herotatus, who set out on his journey to Tet Sinefuru, the home of the sage. When the prince came to the spot on the riverbank that was nearest the sage's village, he had the boat tied up and continued his journey over land, settled in a sort of sedan chair made of ebony, which was carried on bearing poles made of wood and laid with gold. When Herotatus arrived at the village, the chair was set down on the ground, and he stood up ready to greet the old man, whom he found lying on the bed, with the door of his house lying on the ground. One servant stood by the bed holding the sage's head and fanning him, and another was engaged in rubbing his feet. Herotatus addressed a highly poetical speech to Teta, the gist of which was the old man seemed to be able to defy the usual effects of old age, and to be like one who had obtained the secret of everlasting youth, and then expressed the hope that he was well. Having paid these compliments, which were couched and dignified in archaic language, Herotatus went on to say that he had come with a message from his father, Khufu, who hereby summoned Teta to his presence. I have come, he said, a long way to invite you, so that you may eat the food and enjoy the good things which the king bestows on those who follow him, and so that he may lead you after a happy life to your fathers who rest in grave. The sage replied, Welcome, Prince Herotative. Welcome, O son who loves his father. Your father shall reward you with gifts, and he shall promote you to rank of the senior officials of his court. Your vital force shall fight successfully against your enemy. Your soul knows the way of the other world. I salute you, Prince Herotative. Then held out his hand to the sage and helped him to rise from the bed, and he went with him to the riverbank, Teta leaning on his arm. When he arrived there, Teta asked for a boat for his children and his books. And the prince put his disposal 2 boats with crews complete. Teta himself, however, was unshared to the prince's boat and sailed with him. When they came to the palace, Prince Herotative went to the king to announce their arrival and said to him, O king, my lord, I have brought Teta. His majesty replied, Bring him quickly. The king went out into the large hall of his palace, and Teta was led into the presence. His majesty said, How is Teta? That I never seen you. Teta answered, Only the man who is summoned to the presence comes. So as soon as the king summoned me, I came. Then his majesty asked him, It is indeed true, as is asserted, that you know how to rejoin to its body the head which has been cut off? Teta answered, Most assuredly do. I know how to do this. O king, my lord, his majesty said, Let me then bring in a prisoner, so that his death sentence may be carried out. But Teta rejoined, Let me then not bring a man, O king, my lord. Perhaps if may be ordered that the head shall be cut off some other living creature. So a goose was brought to him. He cut off his head and laid the body of the goose on the west side on the hall and his head on the east side. Then Teta recited a certain magical spells, and the goose stood up and waddled towards his head, and his head moved towards his body. When the body and the head came close together, the head leaped onto the body, and the goose stood up and on its legs and crackled. Then a goose of another kind, called Giatat, was brought to Teta, and he did with it as he had done with the first goose. Next his majesty caused an ox to be taken to Teta, and when he had cut off his head and recited magical spells over the head of the head rejoined itself to the body, and the ox stood up on his feet. A lion was brought to Teta, and when he had recited spells over it, the lion went behind him and followed him like a dog, and the rope with which he had been tied up trailed on the ground behind the animal. King Khufu then said to Teta, It is true what they say, that you know a number of the Apat chambers of the Shrine of Thoth. Teta replied, No, I do not know their number, O my king lord, but I know the place where you can be found. His majesty asked, Where is it? To this Teta replied, There is a box made of flint in the house called Septi in Heliopolis. The king asked, Who will bring me this box? Teta replied, O my king lord, I cannot bring the box to you. His majesty asked, Who then can bring it to me? Teta answered, The oldest of the 3 children of Root Teta can bring it to you. His majesty said, It is my wish that you tell me who is Root Teta is. Teta answered, Root Teta is the wife of the priest of Ra Sakahaobo, who is about to give birth to 3 children of Ra. He told her that these children should attain to the highest dignities in the whole country, and that the oldest of them should become the priests of Heliopolis. On hearing these words, the heart of the king became sad, and said, Teta, why are you so sad, O king my lord? It is because of the 3 children. His majesty asked, when will these still children be born? Teta explained that the children would not be born on the 15th day of the first month of Per, which is today's calendar, would be in around the 1st of December. The king then expressed his determination to go and visit the temple of Ra Asakahubu, which was situated near the great canal of Letopolite, district of Lower Egypt. In reply, Teta declared that he would ensure that the water in the canal should be deep enough for the royal barge to sail on the canal without difficulty. The king then returned to his palace and gave orders to Teta should have lodgings provided in him in the house of the prince. He ruled that he should live with him, and that he should be given 1,000 bread cakes, 100 pots of butter, 1 ox, and 100 bundles of vegetables. And all that the kingdom commanded concerning Teta was done.